was a kid, we had a monster in our basement. My father said if I'd done wrong, it'd creep out at night and come for me. I tried to do no wrong, but the monster came all the same.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Wolfenstein Uber difficulty video walkthrough. This is chapter 2, we're in the docks. So, at this moment in time, you want to get on this gun. You also want to try and grab that armor if you can, if you need it, which, this is me being like, no, no, no! What happened to Padme? You killed her, Darth, with your rage. No! But because I did that, I put myself in a bad spot here, so I'm about to lose all the benefit of armor anyway, which is incredibly frustrating, because I can't turn the turret far enough to shoot the guy who's shooting me, and I can't ignore the people in front. So this is hell or high water, and I've just kind of admitted, don't do this, guys. Learn from this mistake. You know, get the armor, kill the guy on the right before you pass him, and then kill these guys, and immediately jump off and get into some cover and start dishing out some death. Like, it's like, look at that dude, he's still fucking me up. Like, come on, bro, this is not cool. So, this is an interesting level because we're going to have to go on 2 different ventures to open the gate, and each time you do that, this courtyard here is going to have an excursion in it, which is filled with bad guys with big guns. The good news is, it's incredibly fun. And that is literally the most important part. I love this difficulty because it's still really fun to play. A lot of first-person shooters, they have the AI set to such a strict way, and they have the game kind of boils down to 2 fundamental things. Hiding, regenning, and popping up to get 1 or 2 shots off, and then hiding and regenning again. And that's all you do in those games. That is annoying as well, and I haven't mentioned it, which I probably should. For some insane reason, they have throw dagger and melee the same button. The difference being is it's context sensitive, so if you're close to something, Blazkowicz will strike it. If you're far away, he'll throw a dagger. If you're, you know, approaching something and trying to preemptively swing, sometimes you'll just toss a dagger, and you'll lose that dagger. And if you're playing on the PlayStation 4 controller, God help you. Because I don't know about your folks, but I'm pretty heavy on the sticks, so I'll be clicking that piece of shit all the time. And I'm going to be swinging when I don't mean to, and there is nothing more frustrating than getting inputs you don't want. However, it's never an issue on 360. But it does bring up a really good point, which annoyed me when I first turned the game on. There's no controller layout that swaps melee and crouch. Because I never want melee on a stick. I hate pushing analogs in. The only thing that's worse than pushing analogs in is twirling analogs to get out of stun. Like, I absolutely hate it. And unless you're on a controller like the PlayStation controller, which has a very eager to click analog, it can be awkward as fuck to do. Like, the Xbox One, when it's a new pad, pushing that analog down, you literally have to sit on it. Because it's so like, no, I'm new and fresh, I will not be suppressed. Like, it's ridiculous, and that is not what you want. Especially when you're like me and you play... The first-person shooter you play the most is Call of Duty, and you're a tactical guy. Like, tactical is B to melee, and then push the analog into drop shot, effectively. That is a really important thing to know. When you shoot that guy's backpack, he dies. Really, really useful. However, this guy knows where we are, so I try and shoot his backpack, and it doesn't work. And this is another situation. Do you notice how I don't have my gun on when I swapped? That's because I climbed through the window. And, oh no, sorry, that's because I jumped in the water. There's the red mist. God, I love that. So whenever you jump in the water, it's going to put a knife on for you, and it's going to fuck a lot of things up, so you need to be aware of it. However, we were in cover, we dealt with it okay, it didn't go too bad. Right now I am holding the left trigger, but the gun isn't going into the iron sights. I never really hip fire unless it's close on this game. This is a really, really good position too, because we can bob left and right, and we can take them out as they're entering the room. Just fun, just really, really good. And then we get the shock hammer, which is such a good weapon. However, that's as in, it's like Sean Connery, shock hammer. Because it's got a random H, like school. Which you don't pronounce shul, do you? But anyhow. So, fire extinguishers are explosive on this game. I don't know why. Apparently oxygen is just really, really good at blowing up. Anything red is probably explosive too, but it doesn't explode immediately, so you need to be aware of that. There's not that many situations that reward it. That was a nice panic moment. Run around the corner not expecting to see him there, and then just like, what do I do? See that? Gosh, that's frustrating. We were in complete cover then and we got shot. It's exactly the same as the New Order, guys. The cover is not trustworthy. And as much as I like the fact that parts of it are destructible, and I like the fact that you're not safe, I hate it. I truly do. And it's that just... I like a very binary thing when it comes to games. I like to know that I'm safe or I'm unsafe. I don't like to always be unsafe. You know, there has to be some kind of security, and unfortunately, this game really doesn't afford you that unless you're in some kind of insanely good clip spot, which really doesn't exist when you combine the uber difficulty AI and the accuracy. Right, put on something explosive here, because across there is a massive multi-kill opportunity, and I think I missed it. Yeah, I didn't get it. But you can always restart, because the checkpoint's just at the top of those stairs if you don't want to waste your grenades. There are 2 shotgun guys here and a bunch of normal dudes. This right now, what I'm doing is I'm leaning upwards, but I'm ever so slightly leaning upwards, which is kind of awkward on your hands, but you can get used to it, and it's going to give you a great advantage for not getting shot and being able to shoot them. But you'll notice, it doesn't matter. They have shotguns and they're hitting me. Literally, I am a forehead. I am a shooting forehead right now, and this dude's shotgun's hitting me from that range. It's crazy. Just die, dude. Is it really so difficult? And then what you want to do now is you want to break some of these open, and you want to bump your armor and your life up because you're going to be going to another area. The next area can be stealthed, so you don't have to worry about a firefight breaking out. However, if you don't stealth it correctly, you will get a firefight, so you need to be aware of it. That being said, this game loads incredibly quickly, and a little tip from me, press X. I have sat so many times on this loading screen because the one for the 360 was so goddamn long, and all I had to do was press X because it loads really quickly. But it doesn't automatically start the game. You have to press X. It's dumb, but it's how they decided to do it. So it's literally a 5-second load. However, I will always sit for 10 to 15 seconds before I realise I can press X because I'm stupid. I'm just so grateful to this game though, because it's reminded me of why I love this genre. And this game runs at a pretty successful 60 frames per second for the most. It looks really visually nice. It's not quite as great as I remember it looking, but it still looks top tier. I think the reason, sorry, not the realize. Realize. There you go. There's a tongue twister for you. I think it doesn't look so great anymore because I've played games that look better. Like Bloodborne. Say what you want about Bloodborne's shitty frame rate, the game looks fantastic. In some places it's kind of ugly, but for the most, that is a glisteningly great looking game. And I really, really enjoy it. And if you're wondering, folks, I'm working on a walkthrough right now, but The Witcher 3 is so soon, I'm probably going to space it out so that it's not all in your face, because the option is I do the entire walkthrough before it comes out, and the game comes out in 5 days. So that's kind of rough considering the editing is a lot more intensive because I'm doing vignettes and fancy things, and also I haven't even commentated any of it, and the commentary takes a while. And as much as I can tell you right now, if I wanted to, I could do it, but I don't want to. And it's for reasons that I don't want it to suffer. When I'm putting a lot of effort into a project, I want to give it the grace it needs to perform. Like, as much as being first on YouTube is great, Bloodborne's been out for a month now, so I'm not going to be first with this walkthrough. However, I'm hopefully going to make a guide that's going to stand out to people who watch it, and they'll think to themselves, wow, you know, this is head and shoulders above the other ones I've been watching. Or you'll get those egotistical people that are like, oh, you fucking suck, you should do this and that, I'm so good. But once again, YouTube is a interesting beast. But I don't know if you've noticed, when you're stealthing, every so often around your reticle you'll see arrows. Little white arrows pointing a direction. And I believe that they are... well, they tell you that enemies are around. I don't think they show the direction of the enemy, because as you saw, the arrow then pointed to my left, and the guy was on my right. But they're a really subtle way of telling you you're close to somebody. And it doesn't seem like a lot, does it? It doesn't seem like it's all that important. But it's those little touches that really inform what's happening because they're natural. You don't even realise you're seeing it, but you're already responding to it because you know exactly what it means. And that is great design. That is gameplay that doesn't have to be pointed out because it's already working as intended. You know, that is the noise that tells you you've headshotted a commander and you're still in stealth. That is the music kicking off to tell you that you fucked up. It's these natural things that are just symbiotically happening all the time with the game and with yourself. It's really cool. And I'm a big fan of it. So this is me going on a bit of a breaking spree. I should have probably fast-forwarded some of these moments, but it's important that you do this, because this is a game where, depending on how meticulous you are, depends on just how much of an advantage you have in the firefights. So this is really rewarding. This is a secret area that's got explosive pistol bullets in it. I was hoping there was something else though, and there wasn't. So I'm going to swim over here, and then I'm going to, instead of breaking the boards and swimming out, I decide to go back. Because there's this really frustrating aspect of climbing out of water on first-person shooters that we just don't seem to understand how to make it work, that doesn't want to, you know, make you want to bash your face in. This is a highly trained American Allied Force, Special Forces, superhuman, crazy, awesome shooter man. Yet he can't climb out of 3 foot of water. He just can't do it. This is a guy who is so ripped, his muscles seem to have muscles, yet he can't get out of water unless there's a ladder. And it is unbelievably frustrating that in 2015 we still have this binary bullshit of, oh, you can't get out from there. Like, that should not be the case at all, ever. I did this wrong, by the way, guys. Right then, I meant to throw a knife at him, but I got the execution, because I was going to throw the knife and I was going to execute his friend. So I've just lost, look at my life. All my armor gone, life gone, all because I did a bad execution on my part. Oh, and that guy runs over there, which I really love that. He knew where I was, but he didn't completely know, and I think that's really great. And you hear me talk about it a lot on these videos if you've listened to me for any period of time, but I love fallible AI. I hate infallible AI. Like, whenever I'm playing fighting games on the hardest difficulty and I go to do like a 4-frame move that I haven't attacked in a while, so I'm trying to mask my movements, feint, duck and weave, and then the computer reads my input and does a 3-frame move and beats it or counterpunches it. I'm just sat there thinking, this is why we play humans in these games. You know, this is why when you fight a player, it's so much more fun, because although they might do a really, really awesome read where they get you on something like that, or they play some wicked footsies and they just outpoke you because you're getting predictable, you know that they've thought about it and they've earned it. Whereas the computer's gone, hang on a second here, that's 1 frame, this is my input, your input just lost. Like, that is the worst, and that is infallible AI, because it's fucking perfect. It can be beat and it can be cheesed, but it's perfect, and whenever you hit it, it's because it let you get an attack in rather than you actually earned an attack, which is incredibly frustrating from like a psychological perspective, but it's true. Then you have AI that makes mistakes. I love that. And I was thinking about it when I was playing this. How many times on this game have you seen the AI mess up throwing a grenade and it's ended up killing them or killing some of their friends? It happens all the time. And I don't really know why, but I love it. Now think about if this game had the same AI that Worms has. So, if you've never played a Worms game, it is a strategic, like military, turn-based, I don't even know what kind of game you would call it, like 2-dimensional platforming shooter game where you have a time limit, you can move once, and you can attack once, and then it's your opponent's turn, and you trade off of each other, and the battle just happens dynamically. Well, when you're up against the computer, it's a little bit different, because when you're shooting your gun, you have to aim it, and you can only see so far on the screen. So you have to do some pretty crazy, like, angular calculations to how far this has to travel, how much power you have to put into the shot to get there, and if you have to have any curve or any drop or the wind calculation, because there is a wind variable that changes trajectories and allows you to do crazy trick shotty things. And if you do that against a person and you land some crazy banana bending rocket shot or an insane 5-bounce grenade that lands spot on them, it is the coolest moment in the game. Everybody's like, oh my god, this is so hype and amazing, and people go nuts, and it's great. And then you go up against a computer that every shot they make is that. Every single one. They do things that, it's perfect. It's stupid, dude. They'll throw a grenade directly into the sky, it'll go up for a week, it'll come down, bounce on the tiniest piece of geometry, bounce off something, fall through a tiny gap, bounce again, and it'll be next to your worm. And it'll kill you or whatever. And you just sat there thinking, fuck off, dude. Come on with this bullshit. Only you're young then, so you're probably not cursing, and you're probably just like, whoa, look what it just did. Because you don't know what it did, it's just too good. It never occurred to you that it's a computer and it's literally just pressed one key and the grenade's gone and found you, because that's literally what they do. And can you imagine if this game had that? How gay that would be? And I'm using that as like a euphemism for any kind of insult you want to put there, and not in any way to demean or degrade homosexuals. Unfortunately, it's so deeply ingrained in my lexicon thanks to South Park, I use it a lot. So, just a little footnote there for people that are a little sensitive on that as a word. But just can you imagine how shitty that would be? It would be really shitty. And people think World at War was bad, and it was. If anybody played World at War on Veteran, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't have to even mention it, because it's famous for this shit. It's infamous. But those grenades, as much as you had 9 indicators on your screen at any given time, they weren't perfect. They were just really good. Like the worms grenades, they land on you as the fuse is going out. So they land, and there's no way to dodge in those games because you can't even control them. But even if you could, you wouldn't be able to, because they explode on landing. Oftentimes, because you could pick the timer, you could put the fuse in your grenade. That game is amazing, dude. I love me some worms. But that's not fun, because it doesn't feel like you lost to something that was even remotely competitive. You feel like you lost to a computer that doesn't make mistakes. And it's not fun. It's Capcom versus... No, sorry, it's SNK syndrome. You know, the SNK boss syndrome. And it sucks. It really does. And that's why I love when I see AI mess up. Like, can you imagine if the AI could slip? That'd be so good when they were running. Things like that. Just interesting stuff. Like, make a mistake when they reload. Just imagine that. Guy goes to reload, and his gun jams. And don't get me wrong, I've played games where your gun jams. Far Cry 2. And it's not good. As much as my friend Aiden will tell you that it's amazing and he loves it and that's the type of shit that he wants in his shooters, everybody else has already been like, can I just fucking shoot this gun? This is dumb. And it's an interesting idea, and it's a great, cohesion and commitment to realism. But I'm not playing shooters for realism, guys. I played Operation Flashpoint. I walked across that field for 2 weeks, real time, and, then I died of hunger because it was stupid. Like, I don't want that in my games. I really don't. But it's interesting to see it from the AI when they have those moments. Like, I can't wait to see where it goes. And Killer Instinct is doing something really interesting. All this is right now at this moment, guys, is stealthing, so you don't really need me to guide you through this. You've done this before, and hopefully you should be pretty good at it. Find the signal, get rid of the signal, or find where you need to go and get rid of that. That guy there, by the way, has a helmet on. If you shoot him in the head, you'll have to put another bullet in his head to kill him. The best way to get around him is to chuck a knife. The knives are so powerful. They're overpowered in the best, glorious, most awesome way. But Killer Instinct... There is a new mode in Killer Instinct coming out, I don't know if it's out yet or if it's still in development, that is essentially going to calculate how you play as a player from your matches and create the racing equivalent, the fighting game equivalent of a Ghost. And I think I've talked about this before, so I apologise if I'm retreading old footsteps, but I need to mention this because it's cool as shit. So, if you're playing great, your ghost is going to play great, and people can download your ghost and play against you. So they're playing against a computer that is simulating how you play. And if that means you jump all the time, it's going to jump all the time. If that means that you don't hit confirm and you throw out special moves regardless of whether or not they hit or if they're blocked, and it puts you in some pretty bad, easy to punish situations, they're going to do that. However, if you're, like a top tier player and you're absolutely amazing and you're having a really good online tear, your ghost is going to be insanely good as well. And it's this interesting thing of, that AI sounds fantastic and it's something I would welcome in any game, but additionally, it's going to be infallible in ways. My only concern is if it's going to be fallible, in ways. Is if it's infallible in ways as well, because can you imagine somebody who has your mentalities but also has the computer's innate bullshit ability to punish you on and counterpoke your moves in almost guaranteed frame trap situations because they know what your input is and they know how to beat it? Because if it's the combination of your playstyle and that just ungodly clairvoyant ability to beat you, it's going to be the most miserable fight on the planet. Like, can you imagine a Seth that has guaranteed mix-ups every single time? Because regardless of how you try and block it, he will do the one way you're not blocking. That to me sounds like a one-player game at that point, and it's not you playing. Because that's the dream situation for a Seth in Street Fighter 4. It's a situation where you're getting your opponent to guess, and they're guessing wrong. Which, a lot of the times it's a 50-50, or it's some kind of mix-up situation where they have maybe 3 choices, and it's a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. But against a computer, they know when you're crouching, they know when you're trying to do a meaty attack, they know when you're trying to get that first hit, they know if you're trying to use some invincibility by doing a Shoryuken. Like, I don't know how that would translate, and I'm hoping it translates really well, and there's none of that, and the AI is so fun that, like, even hardcore online players are using it, because I think it'll be the evolution, the offline single-player stuff in fighting games is really needed. And I think on one side you have Nethersoft that are doing fantastic things with campaign and added features that allow people who aren't online players or people who don't have the best connection to still get a lot of enjoyment from that game, who don't want to necessarily compete. But at the same time, there's these other people that are doing the online stuff really, really well, and this new AI that's coming out, hopefully, in 5-10 years we will have that evolution of fighting games that everybody's been waiting for, because outside of Japan, a lot of fighting games are really, really laggy and really, really tough to play at a competitive level without people calling bullshit and accepting the fact that, it's online, it doesn't count, and all those other sentiments that a lot of people have. But thank you for watching, guys, and you take care now.